Actually, fuck it.
Me or you?
All right, we made it. Apologies for delay. I hope people are still here and present. Or that more people will join soon. But yeah, I appreciate the patience. We had some technical difficulties with this stream, but we're here now. And like anyone who wants to join, I will put the link as usual so you can join us live. You can ask questions. But today we have Luka, as usual, co-founder of Lighthouse Academy, and we have one of our mentors here, Matthew Hallett, who has been doing some very incredible things with ComfyUI in terms of video generation, and more interestingly as well, lip sync and face acting. So today, especially, we want to look at how you can use multi-talk inside ComfyUI, the whole process of generating multi-dialogue scenes at once. So Matthew has been doing some really nice technical and complex setups. So, we'll go step by step. We'll explain like how this was built and how he uses it. And if you have any questions, as usual, just drop them in the chat. We'll be very happy to answer things. But other than that, yeah, Matthew, if you want to say a few words to start it off, then we can get going.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Matt. You might have seen my YouTube channel or some of my posts. I'm really interested in the technical side of producing AI video or imagery. And I just realized that I'm on delay. Is there a long delay on the live? Okay, this is my first live thing, so you'll have to bear with me. If I see any comments, maybe Nate, so you could point them out to me because I'm not even sure where to look.
No worries.
Um, what do you want to? What should we get started with?
So I think like the first question that is interesting is just like, what did you build and why did you build it, right? So I think you have like
Yes.
a bit of a demo of what you made, and maybe then the second question would just be like, yeah, why did you get there? Like, why did you go into
Okay, great.
exploration?
Well, I mean, the idea is that I'm always looking at, I use the Kajai workflow. So there's the native WAN workflow, and I'm always looking at the Kajai website and on GitHub and on Hugging Face. And everybody sees these posts. And I thought, okay, there's the two-person conversation which was a really high bar, really challenging thing to do locally. And at first, I spent a whole week trying to figure out how to make each character separate and then combine them. And then as soon as I finished that, naturally, a workflow was created by Kajai to have a full conversation at the same time generated with the same two actors in the scene. And I'll show you that now. We have, I'll send the request, the share. Excuse me. Is it a pop? There we go. Share the screen. And I'll make sure the sound is on. Okay, can you see everybody can see that?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Kill
And you
it.
can hear it. So this is the
Yes,
result.
again.
fine, then we get some tacos.
And you can see it'll play over.
Did you see that? It wasn't like that yesterday.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't.
You think it moved?
I fucking hope not.
So, what do we do now?
Kill it.
Again?
Mm. Yes, again.
Fine, then we get some tacos.
Now in different versions there's a little more interaction between them that might turn their heads. There is a tendency with WAN 2.1 multi-talk for the character to look at the camera. And so if they're not looking at the camera, in
Yes,
this
again.
case,
Fine, then we.
oops. In this case, I used it to the advantage and created this kind of Quentin Tarantino sort of shot. I had this idea. So, big part of testing, I often just use movie scenes because I find it too time consuming to come up with my own stuff. In this case, I really wanted to, make my own dialogue and produce it. So the idea is here is that you have to separate the two characters with a mask, and that then becomes there's two dialogues. And so I don't know if we want to get into the workflow now or just how to start from the beginning. What do you think, Nate
Let's
or
let's
Luca?
go from the beginning. Just
Right from the beginning.
a little bit from the beginning, yeah. So I think you also had like an interesting example for the audio generation.
Right. Yeah. So for audio generation, one of the things I recommend is that you check out the Hugging Face page. And if you go into spaces right here, you click on spaces, you'll see all of these different these are the late pretty much mostly is open source, and you can test almost all of these demos for free, and they're the latest free options available. Typically they're free, especially on Hugging Face. You just have to pay for a little bit of GPU usage, but you're assigned a fair bit of free GPU. And so you come through here and you can test something like this is the latest one, which I just found out the other day, and it does incredible dialogue. And so what I'm showing you, what I've been using, could already be replaced by this app. And so you can generate your two-person conversations with this program here, but I'm running out of credit, so I don't think I can show you this. But the idea is that you go onto your Hugging Face page and you try some of these to generate the quickest, fastest text if you don't have something installed and you don't want to pay for something. So once I saw these different workflows, I went on to Pinocchio, and Pinocchio AI is another great source for installing local software, and it has everything's contained and portable through the Pinocchio app. And then I searched through here. You can see all of these open source programs that people have made, all the Python and all the dependencies, all installed automatically. And you can install these right here. You see this is one that I have running right now. Sorry, am I jumping ahead too fast?
No,
So-
good.
Okay. So here we have I found the app, loaded it on through Pinocchio, installed it, and it works really quickly. And it has, yes, there's a lot going on, but you can experiment with multiple text-to-speech models. And in this case, I've loaded Chatterbox, and I hit load, and then you make a conversation. And the conversation is this easy, where you just have two characters, and then you have to drag in a sample of their voice, and you can get those from anywhere you can imagine. In this case, I put a sample
In
of
3 years, Cyberdyne will become the largest supplier of military computer systems.
Will Arnold sample, and
I'm
this is
assisting
from.
Gareth Mallory in the transition, and then I'll be back in the field. Yeah.
All right, so I liberated those from a movie and from I think from YouTube perhaps. So you take your WAV or MP3 samples, and you can get a lot of open source royalty-free samples from universities, and you can use it. It works really well with accents. So you make your conversation, and you change the exaggeration down here if you really want to crank it up. So I'll show you how quickly. Here's the two-person
That
conversation.
sounds amazing.
Hello there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm wonderful. I just got back from vacation.
That sounds amazing. Where did you go?
Okay, so Arnold's voice is not great. It doesn't have the right intonations, and so one thing you would do is just change the how dramatic it is, and I'll show you how quickly this performs. I have a 4090, but even still, I think even on a decent GPU, this is pretty quick. The idea of you want to make about a 10 to 20 second conversation, because multi-talk has 10 is really straightforward. 10 seconds is no problem. The quality video deteriorates after about 10 seconds, and 20 is about the max.
Hello there. How are you doing today?
You see it?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Okay, so her voice didn't translate as well with the more dramatic, but Arnold's sounds good, and that's okay because you're going back and forth between the two people, and you have to split it up in post. You can't load a single conversation into Comfy. You have to have two. You have to separate it and provide the gaps. And what I did was I use CapCut, because the days of my photo editing or video editing skills have been lost over a few years. So I started with CapCut, but you of course use anything you want. And here I've already split the conversation out into two WAV files with the gap in between for each person to talk. So I'll just show you that.
You see that? It wasn't like that yesterday.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't.
You think it moved?
You can see it ping pongs between the two, and there's a space. So if I only play one, you get the idea. There's just a long
So
gap.
what do we do now? Again?
All right. So once that's complete, am I going too quickly? I think are we good? Okay. So once that's complete, and you have your audio loaded. Now in Comfy, we have the two sources here. We have speaker one and speaker two. We just mute. How do I mute this? Excuse me. We have our two audio loaded, and so in this case, we just put the entire dialogue down below. And the trick is, if you ever tried to do this before, both users will, or both characters will speak at the same time, and that's obviously the biggest problem. That's where I didn't come up with this masking. This is somebody else, somebody a lot more creative than myself, came up with the idea that you're going to use these masks, and it detects who's on the left and then who's on the right, who's going to speak first. I couldn't get this to work with 4 characters, even though you see that there's a space for four speakers. I only got 2 to work, but ideally it works up to 4, which would be amazing. And here, I'll just skip the generation so that I can show you how the masking loads. If I click on a new mask, you can use any mask. You can load your own mask, of course. Do you want me to go into the masking?
Yeah, just like slowly go over it. I think it's super nice, right? Like especially like I think an important point that I would highlight again is that you need to prepare your inputs before going into Comfy, right? So like making sure that the audio is like, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 1, speaker 2, right? That they're not overlapping. So as usual, the more you spend preparing like inputs for Comfy, I think the better the results are going to be. So yeah, definitely for masking as well. Would love to understand like how you went about it.
Right. There was one, I had this other, I prepared another conversation like this, another AI video, and the conversations overlapped just a little bit. I wanted it to be more natural. It was 2 people talking very close to each other, and the slightest amount of overlap caused both characters to talk at the same time. And I suppose, you could generate each character separately and then combine them in a post. But of course, when their heads move out of, so there's lots of issues with that. I'll just point out too that the limitation right now is that there's no camera movement. I prompted here's my prompt, but I prompted camera orbit and, zooming in or anything. It's very static. So yeah, here's our conversation. If I can clear this mask, what's the best way to do that? If I just take the image out, it's probably going to be pretty choppy. Oh, that's not good. All right, we'll do that's okay. We'll clear the image and generate a new canvas. The first time you load it, you just you don't want to generate the samplers yet. This has it's pretty great. I mean, it tracks it, providing it's in the shot. It'll track the head movement, and it works for really complex imagery as well. You don't have to code in. The other options would be you can code in a face and use the SAM detection and just say face. And I don't have to individually label them or do I can combine both masks in the single image. And you simply bring over what you want to mask. If you hit Control, no, what is it? Shift. Yeah, so Shift and left click, and I can add some points where I want to mask. And of course, where I don't want to mask, I do a Shift right click. Oh, get rid of that one. Let's put it on her hair. And so then I'm kind of adding a whole bunch of prompts or just sort of little points. Oh, and it missed them. So let's put them on the glasses and just add another one. Usually that's the easiest, is just to add another. There we go. And I'm just running. Oh, missed his glasses again. I find it easier just to add more points. Come on.
Yeah.
You
And
can also,
it's good
yeah.
to see this process as well, right? Like that, you need to go and refine it more sometimes.
That's right. And I think that the quality of the mask will affect the outcome. But once you have this established, then you can continue working on everything else. This is sort of just the image prep for the video. So I'm surprised that didn't load. Let's go to we'll just expand it a bit. Now, masking is something I've had to learn. I never had to use this before, so this is all a little bit. I'm definitely no masking expert. So yeah, there we go. We have a pretty clean mask. It doesn't even have to be, I don't think it has to be exact. It just has to be enough because there's some,
Also,
I
like
think
just
there's,
on the topic of masks, I think masking is like one of the best techniques, or like it's just like one of the oldest techniques when it comes to any sort of effect, either image or video, right? And there are bunch of ways you can do masks and manipulate masks inside Comfy, right? So what you're doing now, it's like I think the most visual, right? You're just like putting points on an image. It's
yeah,
like pretty explanatory, dude. Like you just mark where you want to do it, right? But you can also use like large language models or like background removal models, and they will like actually segment based on your prompt where you want
that's
to
right.
mask out, right? So there's a lot of ways you can even do the mask like outside of Comfy. You can do it in Nuke or you can do it in After Effects. Like it doesn't really matter, but it is important how well the mask is made. I completely agree.
Yeah, that's right. This just happened to be something I was using at the time. The one I did try, like you're saying, with language models, is to have just you could just say face or head, and that works really well. This just happened to be the one I had loaded. But yeah, you can certainly load your mask in, and you can see that I've the mask simply goes into the whole separate mask, and then it creates this this mask batch. And strange that the proportions are always don't match. I don't know what that's all about. Then for audio, you don't need to, if this is 15 seconds and you only wanted to do 10, you don't actually really need to crop the audio. You just need to have a start point. So if you were doing a long conversation and you wanted to do sections, then you just simply move up your timestamp. I haven't found a point of having an end. If I only wanted to do 10 seconds, you're controlling that with the frame count. And then the important thing is if you have background, would be to separate the audio. And then this does a very good job if you have to separate. I don't know how many people have used this part already, but the separating the audio works incredibly well. And then it goes into your audio one, audio two.
Yeah, I would just stop on that note a little bit, like the audio separation, because as you said, I don't know how many people know this, but audio inputs and outputs inside Comfy, it's there are nodes that support a lot of manipulation of this sort of data, right? So I highly recommend that people would expand their thinking beyond images and videos and also start thinking about audio as an input inside Comfy, right? Because you can manipulate, like as you see, like it goes into bass drums other than vocals. Like that is insane. And each of these can go into a different kind of like, generation of image or video or like any sort of like guidance, right? So this is
Right.
very powerful. Like inputs are very powerful. And just the fact that you can have audio inputs and you can separate them, that is insane, in my opinion, at least.
Well, and to add to your point, Nate, you can do Chatterbox in as a node. I don't have it loaded here. I can't remember. I only did it a few times, but the same thing that I'm doing within, I should have, yeah, that's important to mention. I don't think it works for conversation, but there's probably a workaround. But the same program that I'm using for this Chatterbox has a built-in sample the voice, put your text, and output and do this right within the Comfy workflow. So that's also, yeah, that's a great point. Excuse me.
That's incredible. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I do think like all of us are kind of like building systems in one way or another, right? And if
Hmm.
you and Comfy just it literally supports most of the things at this point, right? Even the APIs, like
Right.
you can build the whole thing inside Comfy, right? So yeah, that's exciting.
Right, good point. Yeah, I mean to have your entire contained workflow, it's pretty cool. Because what you do is if you did have a lot of background, especially when I was doing the singing, my singing audio um, lip syncing ones, then what you do is when you load the audio, here I just have the audio going from the vocals because I don't have any background. They're just raw vocals as it is. Then what you do is you take your audio and you plug your audio into the final audio so that when it's saving the file or generating the final image, you include the all the music, all the drums, all the everything else is included, and the vocals are isolated just for the lip sync purposes. So that's actually probably technically the correct workflow is to not include just the vocals unless you wanted to add something after in post. So you can choose whether or not to save the file with the audio with the vocals or with your complete audio or nothing at all.
Nice.
All right, so you have your masks, right? And then this, the frames per second, 25 is pretty high. I thought, that's going to waste a lot of frames. Typically, I do like for regular video, I just do 18, maybe 20, and then I maybe do some frame interpretation. But this thing is incredible because we still haven't shown you how many frames we're doing here. In 4 minutes, 375 frames, it does 500, which is, I mean, 500 frames on a local, on a 4090, or even you people doing with this 3090s. I don't know. I don't know what other GPUs you can use for this. I just my own experiments, but that is an incredible frame count. And then what it does is it breaks it up into segments. And this is, oh, sorry, I don't want to move these around too fast because it's easy to lose track. Oh, where did I go? Where did it? Oh, here, sorry. Here's the video and the image encoder, and this is where the amount that your GPU can handle at a time is. In this case, I can do 125. I think the default was 81, and that's typically 5 seconds, 4 seconds at 25 frames a second, or 3. So I'm trying to get 5 second chunks, and the way that it overlaps and however he's doing it, I don't understand the technical side, but it's making 375 frames in 125 frame in generations, and it's not overlapping them. The previous method was with context. If anybody used context, again, anybody joining in, I'm using the ComfyUI workflow, but the context options, this was a overlap, and it would blend them, and it kind of restarted from the original frame, which I found very unsuccessful, even with the most static shots. As soon as his hand rises up, it worked okay for something like this, very simple, but for somebody's hand, each time their hand would rise up, each chunk, each batch. But I don't have this problem here. It continues off and makes a continuous generation of 375 frames. And then this motion frame, what I noticed, there was a lot of flickering and a little bit of, you can notice the gaps in between these 125 frame batches. And tying everything to an order of 25 and making 25 set increments somehow just worked. I don't know the way this is portioned, like the way it portions it out. So that was a big key for the success of this thing, was having measurements of 25, which typically doesn't, I've never had that never be a problem before. You actually round it down. So it's 25 frames a second, 25 frame chunks. So that's a bit of the secret sauce right there for these successful, smooth segments. And I think yeah. So the prompting, you can get the prompting is very simple. I don't often put anything in ChatGPT to get elaborate prompts. I prefer starting with something really simple and then adding to it. And this is the same thing I do with image generation. I like to see incrementally what prompting will do. And the emotions play a big part in the total generation, the full effect. You can get a fair bit of smiling and facial expressions based on their emotions. So I have here passion, disgust, serious, and then the dust and the wind in the hair was a really good little prompting detail. It just a subtle amount of movement. Couldn't get his hand to touch his glasses. You're pretty limited on what you can achieve with this.
I think
And then you have,
I think
yes.
this is a good point here that like the past lip sync models, let's say, they were always just like, they move the mouth and like tried to match the mouth to make sense with the words, right? But what you're saying now, like the multi-talk is moving more towards the video generation of like combining both of these things together, right? And I think that there's also like an option, and I think like Gabrielle shared that like in the previous live that we had, you can basically have a driving video for the motion and combine that with the actual multi-talk, right? So This opens
Yes.
a lot of control and manipulation when it comes to, having dialogue scenes or, just people talking in portrait shots. So it's definitely, the lip sync has evolved, man. Like from where it was like, a few years ago and or even like half a year ago. Like this is a very big jump.
Speaking of that, I'll show you this. Wanted to improve I'll show you some ones that I did recently where I really wanted to challenge the limitations of what you could do as movement. And this was my latest post, but I had trying to actually take a
If
bite out of
only I could
something.
come up with something clever to replace this dialogue with. This is probably not how you eat an apple.
And oh, she almost does. There's another one where I had this person eating a sandwich. And
Did I take a proper bite out of the sandwich? Talking doesn't work as well if the person is further away from the camera.
And
yeah,
what was the input for this? Was it the video?
this is it's pretty much the same. No, this is image. This is almost this. It's the same workflow.
From an image.
Just prompting. Yeah, but the prompt. You see, the starting image has a lot of. Let's see if I have another one here. The prompting has food close to their face. And
You can tell a lot about a man by how he watches a woman eat. Care to test that theory?
you have to gap, just like you gap you put a space for the other person to talk. You have to put a space in your dialogue for the person to eat.
Yeah.
And the most successful one was probably the apple. If I just show you. Well,
If only I could come up with
if you guys want to know this is how many tests
only
I
I could come
run
up with something clever
to get the
replace
results
this
I want. So I
dialogue
think
with.
one of the big things
This is
that
probably not how you eat an apple.
gee, I got a few. I got to go through them. So I do all those generations, and you
But
have to change. Yeah, sorry.
it's honestly pretty good. Like because this is a complicated shot. Like this is very complicated to like kind of replicate and generate. So like actually like it's pretty good. It's not, it's obviously doesn't work if you want to like, really sell the motion and the movement, but it's pretty close. It's getting very
Okay,
close. Yeah.
let me show you my best ones then. And then you guys can be these are the first ones to after I post it, there was some jittering. And what's really insidious sometimes about trying to figure out these problems is that I actually thought it was the opposite direction. I had to change the shift. So for the jittering, I thought they'd lower the shifting because it's supposed to decrease the movement. And in fact, I had to increase it. So I probably had maybe 50 generations, maybe 100 before I realized that that the value had to change from this point. And by the way, just if you want this new workflow or this new scheduler that's in here, this flow match does just as good as all the other ones like UniPC and DPM, but with only 4 steps, and that works best with the audio. So I can't run it right now because I have to close everything, but I can. It's only 4 minutes. I know people when I post like 4 minutes, people don't believe me. It's even on a 40. I got a 50/90 and I can't do it in 20 minutes. You just got to follow all Kajai's, all these little managements. Everything is it all adds up. And the big part is the resolution. I get all these notes on my YouTube channel saying it's not working. It's not working. It's because you're getting too greedy with your resolution. 768 is just like where I stop it. And all of everything I show you is pretty much it's not upscaled. I don't know. It's like, yeah, 1024 is possible, but everything just gets completely maxed out. I'm at a million pixels at that resolution, and 1024 by 1024 is twice the megapixels than 768. So that it's squared. Let me show you the Brad Pitt one. If anybody saw this one, I think I had one of the best. This is my own. Let me show you this one. Yeah, this one turned out really well.
You have been looking at me funny all day, and now I'm going to finish this whiskey.
The liquid's moving around.
Step outside.
That one, I think that was really successful. And this Brad Pitt one I have
enjoying my meal, boys. And as much as you want to destroy it, you're not gonna fucking stop me. Neither will you, and neither will you.
So that's 13 seconds. I mean, that one looks
Enjoy my meal, boys.
like I think that one looks really good. Now, part of the success is that I'm using actual dialogue of him eating, right? That's just ripped off from the movie. And the only reason I'm doing that is to check how things work. Because if I can it's easier to have when you're doing your testing or learning, it's much easier to work from something that's already proven successful of a real human filming him eating. And I think that there's like a lot of the sound effects seem to also play into how the here, this one I think is really funny. Let me just play this one for you if you don't mind.
This is not how you eat a taco.
See the accent?
Do
I
not
got
watch
accent.
this video for taco etiquette. AI does not understand the art of the taco.
So that's just playing into the fact that this thing can't eat. And then yeah, so this one also is because the food's right here. This is the easiest. This is what I really started with.
This is a tasty burger.
Doesn't hold his face though.
You ever had a
That doesn't look like
burger?
Samuel L. Jackson.
One bite, they're real tasty.
It's a younger version. Now the way to get around that is to use the face where it's blocked. His face is blocked with the hamburger, and it doesn't have front doing start frame and end frame. Doesn't work. You can see if you put two images in, it doesn't. It didn't hold his face. So these are the sort of limitations, I guess you kind of work around.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be limitations, and it's very good to point them out as well. Just because, as amazing as it is, it's always like a bit of a battle to get the results you want.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, so those are the latest ones I was working on. Yeah, there was where I find this, there's a lot of people don't realize where'd you get the workflow. Well, they're all in, and a lot of nodes have this in Comfy. I'll give you this is just some free advice that if you go into your custom nodes, and I update this for where's WAN? I'm just looking on my other monitor here. Here we go. Yeah, so if you go into your custom nodes WAN wrapper, and the example, they're all the workflows that the guy who makes the nodes provides. And this is where a lot of these things are hidden. Well, not hidden. I mean, you're right here. You just have to drag them in. And that to me has been a great where I learn a lot of this stuff. And sometimes you have to combine them.
What? Sorry. What do you mean with this? So these are.
So this is where all the workflows. Like when I'm using Kajai, I only use the native, or I only use Kajai's wrapper because he combines this guy. I think he's in Sweden or something, and he combines all of these different WAN, all this video and memory features that other people, and he combines them all into his own node set. And then he makes an example workflow how to use it. And so multi-talk is right here. And so if you just drag that over, then you get his workflow. And if it's updated, you'll see that there's the separate audio embed. And then I went into GitHub, and in the repository, they have the guy, somebody, I thought the workflow was in here. I can't remember where I found it, but somebody else had the masking, like had a solution for it. And so that they're telling you, but they don't have any social media posts or anything. They're just guys. I think once they've solved the problem, they don't even make content. They just like, okay, problem solved, and they just move on to something else. And then it's up to us to find it and then drag it out and then test it a lot more. I mean, like the default workflows are good, but they need he doesn't spend the time I am running 100 at night generating and finding all the settings. So that's sort of where it leads off. It kind of comes up to us, and then it's up for us creative guys to come up with the fine-tune workflow.
Yeah, it's a growing ecosystem. Everyone's just contributing like where their interest is. So it's always super nice.
Now, does anybody have any questions? Or, I mean, I've just been talking the whole time. I didn't even look.
No, I think it's good. I think it's just like a nice overview of everything. I think as far as questions, nothing specific right now. Theory. joined earlier. Maybe I didn't like nail his name. And he said very interesting stuff. And I agree. Like, I think it's very interesting how we can move into like multi-conversations now. I think like the really big part is when we can add camera movement to it, which is the next step for like this workflow, or just a variation of this workflow as well.
The trying to push this into like trying to force these things to do tasks they're not designed to or not ready for it yet. I think we just have to keep waiting for the next version. Like 2.2 is going to apparently solve most of these. By the time multi-talk comes in, or whatever version of multi-talk they call it, when that's in there, then you're going to have that camera control. You'll be able to orbit and talk. And even when I did, like I spent, I don't know, sometimes I have to stop myself when I know something is just not ready. And I made this whole video on YouTube called Fantasy Talk, and everybody's like, it's not very good. And I go, I know. And then right at the beginning of the video, I said, this is probably not worth it, guys. And I pushed the limit of this thing, and I said, I think it's just, I don't think it's me. I think it's the actual limitations of this fantasy talk. This is like the alpha version of multi-talk. And the limp syncing just sucked. It just wasn't good. And yeah, then 2 weeks later, as soon as I finished that, they come up with something that works just phenomenally. I mean, I multi-talk came out. I was about to go on vacation, and I had like 3 hours to put something together and post it because I just like, why? It always seems I'm about to go on vacation when the coolest AI tech comes out, and all I want to do is just sit at my computer and work on it for all day. Yeah, so I mean, that was the same thing. I tried making two-person conversations and then literally finish it, and then like 3 days later, the entire problem was solved. So I just wasted all that time. But I guess for me, it's learning. I mean, I come from architecture, and so the fact that I'm playing with, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be making videos of somebody singing. I never, ever thought I would do that. My singing ones are, I don't know if you guys saw my sing. Do you want me to play some? We have some time. Do you want me to play some of the singing ones I made?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a look.
Let's see. Oh, and I'll show you just this. This is one. I'll just show you. I thought that first thing I started when bass came out. I saw this. That idea I stole off somebody, where it was stole some of these ideas because people do it on Runway, or they do it in Kling or VO3. And I can do that. I can do that I can do that locally. And if it's for me locally, just if I can do the exact same thing for free, I like that. I think that's my challenge. Yeah. But yeah, I grabbed some of the kids' toys, and I just started, just playing with them. I think that is going to be for people doing pre-visualizations for movies. I think playing with the toys and setting up or doing 3D miniatures, 3D scenes, really basic stuff, or reusing old footage. I don't know, just like brainstorming these ideas. Super quick. I did all of this within a few hours in the morning. I think it was like some of it was before breakfast. And on that was just because like the results are okay, the input's fine. You're literally just filming yourself with a phone playing with an octopus, and then just making an image of an octopus, and then you just combine it. So it's not like it doesn't have any purpose. It's easy because it's just nobody cares what it looks like.
I think this goes back to the point of having good inputs, because like we saw like one of our students, Sal, who took like your workflow, the initial workflow with like van, vase, and the reference image, and he just went down on it, and he went deep to like make it the highest level possible.
Yeah,
and that was
amazing.
It is about the inputs, right? Like it is how good the inputs are. And there's actually
100%.
Yeah, there's a question from
sorry,
Michael. Could you share a link of ControlNet workflow used to generate examples from your multi-talk with Van in ComfyUI? Is incredible recent video. So not sure.
Which one?
Yeah, which one exactly? So ControlNet workflow to generate multi-talk examples.
I don't think I used.
So maybe Michael, if you have like a link to what you saw, we can find it. But yeah,
sure. I haven't done many ControlNet and I'm trying to think about which one. Most of these are not ControlNets. And the talking. I think I've done a few, but let me turn This is again, I ripped off real people and made a big disclaimer at the bottom because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to start writing my own music. But these turned out. These are 20. Some of these are 20-second long, and you'll see there's it degrades depending on the video. But this one looks. This looks exactly like the real video. I couldn't believe it. It's got his hands doing this. It's almost like they must have. It's almost like the reference material was there. I didn't do anything other than just a picture and the audio.
Nice. That's an interesting test as well, right? Comparing like
Yeah,
on where can it interpret it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're experimenting with something, I really do recommend trying to reproduce something real, like something that already exists. And that's like a fidelity check that if you can reproduce reality, then when you go to do your own thing, you've got so many settings. I just find it very useful in understanding where I need to make the adjustments. So the question was the workflow with Vase.
It was control
I don't know if I
net
did it.
flow because I think you have like two different workflows, right? Like we were checking right now. The one was with the control net and the reference, which we saw right now.
Oh, you
And
want that one?
not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think also
yeah,
like, Michael, you can also just like, after the session, we can share the links and everything. And Matt already like published all the workflows as well. So I think we can just like take it from there as well.
yeah, I don't know. You can combine them, but there's the Vase. So control net and the multi-talk doesn't work as well. And I think I only did a few examples of that. I don't know if I ever put one online. That was there was, if you've seen anything like this one, there's no multi-talk in this. This is the lip syncing from, this is the actor talking. And so the lip syncing comes from the actor, not an image. Like, so
Damn, it really keeps his face shape.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
keeps.
that was the goal. You can see that was me learning masking. But also Christopher Walken has such a really, like, this is not big exaggerated movements. I really wanted to capture, the little details in his eyes and just all of that subtlety. That Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted that the whole time you knew that the actor was behind the mask, like all of the actor was still there playing a part.
Now, Michael
Yeah,
said that
yeah.
the first example with your personal expression in this video. So I think the one we started with, like just the base multi-talk workflow that
With
you
the
have.
girl or the person taught the people talking.
Yeah, the one we started with that we have.
This
In
this is the one we started with, and then we went into the Apple.
Yeah, the one that we started with. So
Yeah,
we can share that later. That would be great. Yeah, and we absolutely will. So like in the comments, we'll just leave a link for everyone who can check it. And
Yeah, I'll put a link for the multi-talk one.
amazing, amazing. Cool. I think we can start wrapping up as
Okay.
we've gone through quite a lot of things. Overall, like, yeah, if there are any other questions, feel free to send it. Also, like later on, like you can send it to us. I'm sure like Matt would also be happy to chat if anyone is curious. But yeah, this is just an incredible piece of technology. I think there are like a couple of areas or groups of technology that have been like emerging in generative AI, right? And I think like lip sync and face acting is a big one, right? Like it started with like the whole spline, like thin spline animation, like a while back, and then it evolved into like more and more, and it started then Act One and the live portrait came, and that was already like, oh my God, wow, you can now upload the video to drive the.
Yeah.
And now we're already at the point where like you can actually have multiple inputs to control like the performance plus the camera motion plus like maybe the reference. Like the van models are absolutely incredible. It's just in a way how
I
you
mean,
find everything
yeah,
together.
right. And I think that like the next version is promising to have all those issues. I mean, hopefully, I mean, we're gonna maybe it's version 3 that comes out, but the idea to have more control, especially on cameras, is a big part of it. So once we have we could, I mean, if it's already this good, I mean, and I keep saying it 6 months, but yeah, it really is the next version is going to be, I mean, you're going to be able to do so much.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone joining. Thanks for, tuning in, listening to us explain things. Thank you so much, Matt, for sharing the workflow
Oh,
and explanation. I think it's very
thanks for
important.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Also for like the limitations and the inputs and everything you've done, and also like sharing the open source models. Like it's an exciting time just to experiment and everything. If anyone wants to, know more, I think they can reach you on LinkedIn or anywhere else. Also, the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is amazing. I think you should definitely watch the videos that Matt is creating because they're full of knowledge. But yeah, anywhere
Thank
else
you.
you would like people to contact you?
LinkedIn's good, but yeah, I mean, I think I wish I had more time to put into my YouTube channel. I enjoy the WAN deep dive. I think if anybody's looking to how to squeeze the most memory out of their GPU, I would watch that. Highly recommend that video because I explain all the models, what FP8 means, what BH16 means, BF16. So I go through how to maximize uh, and get the most out of it because that seems to be the biggest limitation for people using um, local hardware is just trying to produce online results, but with their computer. So yeah, check that out, and yeah, just I don't know, see keep looking at my posts on LinkedIn, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. And if you wanna like hang out with us and like dive deeper, we are doing another course for Advanced Comfy. Matt will be there as one of the mentors, and he'll be sharing all of these things in a more in-depth manner as well. We only had like, about an hour today with some technical issues, but in our classes, like we have 2 hours and a half each week where we spend time together, we talk about these things, we answer questions, we do more examples and everything. So, if you're curious about it and really want to go deep and want to innovate, we'd be happy to have you and have a chat to see how it all fits. But
Yeah, that's a good point. Just to add on to that, you're absolutely right. One of the big things when what we do is problem solving because everybody comes up with one thing that's just holding them back and being part of a long session where we can really people can come in with their exact problem that are having. Not just like, can't get something working, but really trying to maximize all of the little all the settings and models and fine tuning it so that you can get it for your workflow. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you off there, Nate.
yeah, I agree completely. We're all figuring things out, and we got some very talented people around us who have big brains, and we've been figuring out some very cool things together. All right.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you've got some great guys working with you.
yeah. All right. I appreciate it, Matt, and thank you, Luca, and thank you everyone for
Pleasure.
joining. We'll see you probably next week for another session. We'll be talking something more about storytelling next week. So yeah, it's gonna be fun as well. But yeah, appreciate all of your time and see you soon.